we don't use H now.
Ah,
Only
okay.
later.
Yeah,
Je
yeah,
sens ça, je me souviens. Je me souviens des marées hautes, du soleil et du bonheur qui passait sur la mer. Il y a une éternité. Un siècle. Il y a un an. Où tu voudras quand tu voudras. Et ça viendra encore lorsque l'amour sera mort. Toute la vie sera pareille, ça n'est pas.
Tout va bien? Ça va les autres? Tu es prêt? Ouais, oui, très bien.
Well, a very warm welcome back to Le Mans and the 2026 FEI European Pony Eventing Championships. We are just about to begin our second day of dressage here in this three-phase competition, with the second half of our class coming forward. We saw half of our individuals and our first two rider rotations in the teams yesterday. Our leader in the clubhouse, Germany's Greta Marie Lohr, individual rider for Germany on Rathkine Dream, put a 27.1 on the board to take a decisive, nearly 2.5 penalty lead at this early stage. In second place individually overnight, Anna de Smet of Belgium, part of the Belgian team there, with De Halger and Allegro on a 29.5 are two sub-30 scores that we saw yesterday. Third place at the moment individually held by Giulio Dellamore, riding the charming Nation Cup on 31.3. Fourth place, Charlotte Eilers of Germany on Nadeshi, and fifth place, Elizabeth Haggard of Great Britain on Cyrano de Tassine. And we'll have a look at how that team leaderboard is looking as well. So at the moment it is Germany holding on to gold medal position thanks to that test from Charlotte Eilers and Nadeshi, that 31.7. And Justus Hayerson, Miss Windsor, put a 33.3 on the board, provisionally individual 10th place, and contributing to that gold medal at the moment on a score of 65 for Germany. Belgium sitting in silver medal position on a 65.9. Anna de Smet and De Halger and Allegro, that second place 29.5, and a 15th place 36.4 for Julian Vermonden and Timon van der Gronhoevel. They sit on an equal score of 65.9 at the moment with Ireland, thanks to Kitty Cullen and Green on Russell, who put a 32 on the board, sit 6th overnight, and Lily Mae Walsh and Chapel Hill Dark Spark, 33.9 and 11th place. Fourth place at the moment, Italy on a 67, fifth place France on a 67.3, and in sixth place Great Britain on a 78.3, so mostly quite a tightly packed leaderboard here, but Great Britain with a little bit of catching up to do after a slightly trickier day in the office yesterday for that eventing powerhouse nation. So soon to join us any moment here, we'll be getting underway with our second half of this first phase competition, and we will be starting out today with some of our individual competitors. We have 5 individual competitors to welcome into the arena before we get started with our third rider rotation in the teams. Our grand jury, helmed by President at C, Laura Eslan of France, at M, Van der Stewart of Ireland, and at E, Mira Love of New Zealand. So that very experienced grand jury team there, ready to see what Europe's finest ponies and riders have to offer today.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue sur la piste bleue du pôle européen du cheval pour cette deuxième journée du championnat d'Europe FEI de concours complet poney. Cette deuxième partie des épreuves de dressage. Hier, nous avons eu l'occasion.
So last year, 2025, here at Le Mans for the FEI Pony European Eventing Championships, we saw gold go to the home nation Team France, silver to Great Britain, who are currently on the climbing mission, and bronze to Germany, who currently hold gold medal position. And our individual medals, none of the riders or ponies returning for this year's competition, but France also took individual gold thanks to Ellen Rinaldi, who rode Boston du Verdon. Germany took individual silver, Miller Stade and Charlene San, and Great Britain took bronze, Annabelle Ridgway on Hakim de la Carrie. So our leaderboards looking very different at the moment, but lots that can change today, and 2 action-packed jumping phases yet to come. The cross-country taking place tomorrow, that pivotal phase, and then finally the show jumping on Sunday afternoon after that final horse inspection in the morning that is in place to ensure that ponies have come out feeling fit, fresh and sound after their exertions on the cross-country course. Horse welfare absolutely at the forefront of all of these championship competitions, and indeed the non-championship competitions that take place every week up and down the country, the continent and beyond.
Eh bien, dans quelques instants, on est à 4 minutes du premier couple en piste de cette deuxième partie des épreuves de dressage. Well, good evening. good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to the Pôle Européen du Cheval for the second day of the FEI European Championship eventing for ponies. Second part of the dressage test today. After the 22 first yesterday, we're going to have 21 today. Unfortunately, we just happened that Molly again and Florence Delight, number 428, is withdrawn, the Irish rider.
So just getting some news through from our arena announcing team there that our first pony and rider that we were due to see today, Molly Egan of Ireland and Florence Daylight, very sadly have opted to withdraw before this dressage phase. Hence why we have just a little bit of a delay here. She was due in the arena for 12:30 local time, which would have been 11:30 if for those following along from Ireland or indeed from the UK. So it'll just be another couple of minutes now before our second pony and rider combination come forward. Our pathfinders for the day today will be Doris Ruder and Anglo Drifter for Sweden, competing as individuals here this week. So our condolences very much with Molly Egan and her support team. A huge amount of work goes into coming here and qualifying, getting ready, getting the preparation done, making the big journey from home in Ireland to France. But as we were saying just a moment ago, welfare of these beloved ponies very much at the forefront of everything that is done here. So Florence Daylight perhaps just not feeling 100% herself, and Molly making that very tough decision not to come forward. So we extend our sympathies to them and hope that they will be back up and running again very soon and with a super result somewhere to make up for this week. So we lay eyes now on Sweden's Doris Ruder and Anglo Drifter. This is a 14-year-old Irish-bred pony, though that breeding is unrecorded. Owned by Sondra Ruder. This is a pony that we saw at the European Championships back in 2022 when it was held at Stregom in Poland with Vilma Bertelsen of Sweden. Finished 30th individually on that occasion, the team finishing 8th then. Meeting as an individual this time with Doris, who made her FEI debut in April of last year, also at Stregom in Poland. Finishing 6th there. Then didn't come back out for another FEI run until this season. Saw them at North Holland Horse Trials in Udskarpel back in April, finishing 8th there, so a very smart result. But just perhaps being kept as an individual as quite low mileage, very talented, but not a huge amount of FEI runs. Also can find this first phase just a little bit tricky. That run at Udskarpel, they put a 43.2 down in the first phase. The year prior in that debut run at Stregom, a 60.8, so obviously spent the rest of that season just getting to know one another and ironing out a few bits and pieces in their training to make that marked improvement. So it will be very exciting to see how they have developed again since North Holland Horse Trials. Doris turning 15 next week, so an early happy birthday to you, Doris. So we just see that stretch down towards the bit being asked for in this section of the test here, looking for that elongation of the frame, the lifting of the back. A continued step through from the hind end. We want the rhythm to stay the same. it serves as a demonstration of that connection coming through from behind. Just a few problems in the ring there for Sweden's Doris Ruder and Anglo Drifter. Just a little bit of a spook and a reaction there. They work hard to get back to singing from the same hymn sheet to get through the rest of the test. Just see Doris not pushing for too much of a change of stride on those counter circles. The judges are looking to see a step up into some medium canter for a few strides there, but for those riders who might feel that their pony is feeling a touch on the reactive side, sometimes erring on the side of caution and not pushing for too much opening of stride there, lest they do not regain it back on the other side. So a nice square halt there before the rein back. And Doris just really taking her time to let that halt and immobility land. And that is great to see. It is a movement where it is very easy to get tempted to rush through it, to halt and then immediately start thinking about that rein back and wanting to get it over and done with, as it's quite a difficult movement. But Doris really just taking her time there, letting the halt settle. And now a lovely relaxed walk along this long diagonal in the free walk, one of the last movements in this test. Doris riding very sympathetically here and letting her pony just take a breath and enjoy the ride a little bit. So another nice square halt there to finish this test, and huge pats from Doris Ruder for Anglo Drifter. They have previously had some trouble in this phase, but other than one reaction in the ring today, a really lovely improved test. Lots of hard work has gone into the development of this first phase, and it is paying off. So lots to be happy about, lots to celebrate, not least Doris's 15th birthday, which she will be celebrating next week, so hopefully some early celebrations coming here at Le Mans as well. So we just wait to see a score for them. So we do have some scores in from the judge at E. That is a 63.41 from the judge at C, a 57.73 from the judge at M, 62.95 for a total score of 38.6. We said before that they'd had some trouble on the flat. Their two previous FEI dressage scores, a 60.8, a 43.2, now a 38.6. Just showing the value of hard work and not giving up when things go a little bit pear-shaped. A huge personal best there for Sweden's individual competitor Doris Ruder and Anglo Drifter. So a fantastic start for them. That puts them into 18th place at this point in time. So next in the ring for the Netherlands, again sticking with our individual competitors here, this is Zanna Everers riding Zucchero. Zucchero is an 11-year-old Belgian-bred gelding. Again, another pony here with unrecorded breeding. So a great mystery where he comes from and what lines go into him. But heart and willingness, so much more important in the grand scheme of things than bloodlines, especially for these eventing ponies. Zucchero is owned by Tessa Overville and is making his championship debut this week, as is rider Zana. They have been together throughout each other's international careers, and this will be their first and their last Pony European Championships. Zana turns 16 in September, so this is her final year of eligibility for these Pony Championships before she steps up into the junior leagues. They finished 5th at the North Holland Horse Trials Pony 2-Star Long in April, 9th at that same level at Fontainebleau in France in October last year. Generally speaking, high 30s scorers. We did see them put a 41 on the board in their last FEI run, but that was at 1-star, so a level below, in fact. Ordinarily, stepping a level down to that easier test yields a better score, but sometimes for these very clever, quick-thinking, energetic ponies, sometimes having a little bit more of a challenge in the dressage ring can actually focus the mind and get them to settle, and the scores become better. So that may well be the case here with Zucchero. Their last two-star score was a 38.2. Netherlands this week, unfortunately not fielding a team, but taking advantage of the opportunity to have 2 individual riders here. So we will also see later a ride for Lieve van Houten, Tullibard's 6th Sense AC. Just coming a little bit above the bit there, and the latter part of that 20-metre canter circle with that transition from those medium steps back to a working canter. And there's definitely a pony that looks as though the canter is his best and favourite working gait. So some really nice fluid steps there. You can really just get a sense from looking at this pony what an athlete he will be in the jumping phases to come. Lovely open stride there, a very light stamp of a pony. So final trip up the centre line, halt and salute for the Netherlands, Zanne Everez. Beautiful Zucchero. Generally speaking, high 30s scorers in this phase. We will just await to see what they have been awarded from our 3 judges today. A nice job done by both pony and rider in the ring.
Eh bien, poursuivons avec des couples qui réalisent ce championnat d'Europe Street individuel. La veste bleue, les couleurs de l'Italie, portée par Isabella Giovannoni, qui forme couple avec Claude.
So scores now in for Zanne Everez and Zucchero. From the judge at E, that is a 60.91%. From the judge at C, 62.27%. From the judge at M, 60.45%. Giving a total of 61.21%, which is 38.8 penalties and 19th place at the moment. So we stick with our individual riders for a little while longer. Now we welcome from Italy, Isabella Giovannoni, and Clonburn Leedy. Apologies, forgot how to read there. This is a 9-year-old Irish-bred gelding, again of unknown breeding. Great session of mystery breeding today, owned by Omnia SRL. Isabella, another rider who is 16 this season, and so in her last year of ponies, making her Pony European Championships, as is Clonburn Leedy. This is her first FEI pony. They have had 12 FEI starts, 10 top 10 finishes. Finished 4th in the Pony 2-star short at Stregom in June, 9th at the same level at Royal Jump in France in May. Generally speaking, a mid-30s combination. They did do a 39.8 in their last 2-star FEI test, but generally speaking, we would see them average out in the middle of the 30s. So that is certainly what they will be aiming for today. Just seeing a little bit of tail swishing there from Clonburn Leedy. Often can be a bit of a sign of some tension through the back. Not at all uncommon. We just see that a little bit in action there in that change of leg through the trot, sort of running through the transition a little bit there, losing a bit of that thrust from behind. Would love to see just a little bit more connection there, but also this, a very, very fit-looking pony, looks ready to run. So it is all about straddling that knife edge between asking enough, but not compelling a fizzing over of these very, very fit eventing ponies. Of course, that is the great challenge of eventing. What makes it difficult is also what it is testing. Lovely hold there from Isabella and Clonburn Leedy. Eventing initially a cavalry sport. Could horses be fit enough to cross terrain at speed to ride out onto the battlefield? But could they also be trainable and sensible enough that even with that extraordinary degree of fitness, they could behave beautifully for parade duties. So the trickiness of straddling that knife edge, actually very much the point of the dressage phase. Final halt and salute from Italy's Isabella Giovannoni and Clomban-Lidi.
Réaliser ce championnat d'Europe FEI de concours complet de poney à titre individuel. Voici les résultats pour Xana Everards et Zucchero avec une moyenne en E de 60,91, en C 62,27, en M 60,45, une moyenne finale de 61,21 et un score de 38,80. Well, the judges mark for Xana Everards an average of 61.21, and that gives a score of 38.8. On va poursuivre avec les couleurs de la Suisse désormais sur la piste bleue avec celle.
So scores now in for Isabella Giovannoni and Clomban-Lidi, our Italian individual competitors. From the judge at E, 64.09%. From the judge at C, 64.77%. From the judge at M, 63.18%, for a total percentage of 64.01, and a penalty score of 36 puts them into 15th place at the moment. As we move to Switzerland, Swiss individual Lena Siegenthaler and Hermione III. This is a 9-year-old French-bred mare by the stallion Trésor out of Lati du Cerisier by Creole d'Angry, owned by Christina Reolini and Tiziana Reolini Siegenthaler. Tiziana Reolini Siegenthaler is Lena's mother and will be very recognisable to followers of the sport as an Olympian for Switzerland in the eventing at the Beijing Olympics back in 2008. Also competed on a lot of European Championships teams, more recently very well known with the great grey gelding Toulouse de Rouet, who over the last number of years has been partnered with Switzerland's Melody Jona, including at the Paris 2024 Olympics, but very much made his mark in the sport under Tiziana Reolini, as she was known then. So Lena, this is her only event pony. She's otherwise a prolific show jumper. Finished 10th individually in Hagen at the Children on Horses Europeans recently with Versace Della Roque. This is her first eventing championship and comes after taking the win at Morgengo Pony 2-Star Short in September. Also saw this pair run at Radolfzell in Germany in the Pony 2-Star Short in April, finishing 7th. Finished on their dressage score of a 39.3 on that occasion. So this week marks their 2-star long debut. Lena just turned 13 last week, so a very happy belated birthday to Lena. Her younger sister Carla, also a very keen rider. And the two girls very involved with the family dairy farm as well. So some smart work that we're seeing in the ring here from Lena Siegenthaler and Hermione the Third.
La Suisse.
So,
Elia
final and salute and big
Siegenthaler,
pats for Hermione the Third from
associée à
Lena Siegenthaler,
R-3 dans ce
Swiss
championnat
individual
d'Europe.
competitor, daughter of Olympian Tiziana Realini Siegenthaler.
Qui se lance donc à titre individuel.
She's 13 years
Dans ce
old
championnat,
and making both her
Lena Siegenthaler
Pony
and
Championship and
pour Switzerland,
CCI
just
two-star long
finishing
debut this
the
week, so we
test.
wish them
Les résultats pour
plenty of
Isabella
luck and
Giovannoni,
lots of fun out there.
la cavalière
We
italienne.
just stand by
Obtient
to
une
see
moyenne
what
en
their
E
scores
de
look like.
64,09, en C de 64,77, en M de 63,18, une moyenne de 64,01 pour un score de 36 points. Well, the average of Isabella Giovannoni with an average score of 64.01 and a score of 36. Bien, mesdames et messieurs, on va passer désormais aux nations qui concourent par équipe avec eh bien, les troisièmes cavaliers. On va démarrer avec la Belgique tout de suite et notamment Winter Dirix associé à sa ponette Vavit, ponette de 9 ans par Conquistador Van Orchids.
So scores now in for Lena Siegenthaler and Hermione the Third of Switzerland. From the judge at E, 58.18%. From the judge at C, 65%. From the judge at M, 63.86%. So quite a wide array of marks there. For a total percentage of 62.35, or a penalty score of 37.7, which puts them into 18th place at the moment. So now we turn our attention to the third rider rotation in our teams, and this will be for Belgium. Winter Dirix and Vavit. Vavit is a 9-year-old Belgian warm-blood mare by the stallion Conquistador Van Orchids, and out of FEI by Shining Star Aristo, owned by Cara Bosman. Winter is 15 years old. This is his only FEI ride. Made his FEI debut with this pony in October last year at Fontainebleau in France in the Pony 2-Star Long. Had a bit of an educational rather than competitive day out on that occasion. Came back for the Pony 2-Star Long at North Holland Horse Trials in Utskarpel in April of this year, finishing 4th. So a productive off-season developing. Last time we saw them out was at the Royal Jump Pony 2-Star Short. They finished 20th there. Did have 20 penalties on course. They did a 31.6 on the flat on that occasion, which if they were to match it today would be good enough to put them into 4th place individually. Already we're seeing some really nice work in the ring here, and Winter just riding for a very definitive stretch down there. Really going for it. He knows that the work is solid and the foundations are good, so he is going to give that everything he can to show the stretch there. Still going well in the ring here for 3rd rotation Belgian rider Winter Dirks. This very tall rider. Soon to graduate into the junior rankings, and that test, I imagine, felt as good as it looked, because there is a big smile on Winter's face as he wraps up that test with the 9-year-old Verbeek.
Les résultats pour Lena Ziegenthaler et Hermione 3.
31.6 in their last test at 2 starts, so love to match that again or better it today. Just a reminder that the Belgian team is currently sitting in silver medal position on the podium, just 0.9 penalty behind Germany on the gold. So if he can put a 31 or thereabouts on the board, that will be a very valuable score. Love to try to match Anna de Smet of the Belgian team, who is one of our only 2 sub-30 scores so far. She and De Halger and Allegro put a 29.5 on the board yesterday to lead for most of the day before getting pipped at the post by Greta Marie Lohr of Germany. So we'll just wait and see what those scores say now as we get into the 3rd, and then after that the 4th rider rotations for the teams. We will start to see some fairly significant movement on that team podium. Every ride to count, every movement to count, every mark to count. Okay, so score in for Winterdierik of Belgium and Vavit, 67.5 from the judge at E, 72.73 from the judge at C, 69.77% from the judge at M, for a total percentage of 70%, and that is a penalty score of 30. Puts him into third place individually, and is great news indeed for that Belgian effort, currently sitting in silver medal position and bolstering their claim on a medal as we make our way through this first phase. So, sticking with our team riders, next we will go to Italy and Giacomo Guardini, Fernhill, Milcham, Mischief. Will join us in just a few moments' time. Italy currently sitting fourth on the team leaderboard, but not too far behind Ireland and Belgium, who share second place on that 65.9. Italy are on a 67. So it is all looking very, very tight at the top indeed. So plenty of pressure on Giacomo Guardini. This 10-year-old Irish sport horse registered mare out of Milcham Seabird, a mare by the stallion Contra A. Fernhill Milcham Mischief herself is by the stallion Carnhill Bertus Lad, owned by Carol G of Fernhill Sport Horses and Elisabetta Morenzoni. Giacomo, 14 years old. Came here last year with this mare, finishing 18th individually and part of that 5th place finishing Italian team. In 2024, he also rode at the European Championships with Baylock Trigger, but didn't complete on that occasion. The Italian team 6th that time, so this time we see the team sitting in 4th. 6th in 2024, 5th last year, 4th as it stands right now. He's also at the Europeans in 2023 with Blue Lake Scooter, also 6th in the team that year, 32nd individually. So plenty of championship experience for Giacomo Guardini, and he will be using all of it for this ride that really, really counts for that Italian effort. He would love to get a team medal this time after being such a diligent servant for the Italians. This partnership has 4 2-star wins and a 1-star win under their belt so far. One at Rome Tour de Quinto, April of this year and last year at 2-star level. Protoni, just outside of Rome as well in October, they won at the 2-star level there. And Parmanova 1-star back in 2024. They are a partnership that really reliably does score in the 20s. Last year here we saw them put a 27.6 on the board, which would very, very nearly be at the level of our current leaders, Greta Marie Lohr and Rathkline Dream. They are on a 27.1 at the moment. So this a huge test for the Italians and for the competition more broadly. Bit of a fidget in that halt there before the rein back. But Giacomo straightening it out and getting it under control before embarking on that rein back. So back up into the trot for Italy's Giacomo Gardini and Fernhill Milchan Mischief. It's a crucial test for the Italian effort. Just a bit abrupt into that final halt there. From the Italian support side, this is a partnership that are really consistently 20 scorers. A couple of very minor mistakes in that test, or not even mistakes so much as little things that the perfectionist would love to tweak, but that can be said for any test. So let's see how these numbers stack up on the board and what that will mean for Team Italy, who currently sit well in contention.
In a few seconds, we're going to have the judges' mark.
So just awaiting those scores for Italy's Giacomo Gardini and Fernhill Milchan Mischief. We will bring them to you as soon as we have them.
On va poursuivre avec eh bien, les couleurs de l'Allemagne, le troisième couple allemand de l'équipe à se présenter. Elle est associée à ce
So scores now in for Italy's Giacomo Gardini and Fernhill Milchan Mischief from the judge at E, 72.73%. From the judge at C, 71.82%. From the judge at M, 71.59%, for a total score of 72.05%, or penalties of 28. We thought it would be a very important test, both individually and for that Italian team, and it has been indeed so. That puts Giacomo Gardini straight into second place individually as the leaderboard stands at the moment, and means an awful lot for the ongoing efforts of the Italian team. We will take a closer look at how that leaderboard for the teams is looking at the culmination of this third rider rotation before we head into the fourth. For now, though, we will turn our attention to Anna von Helldorf and Marlon 192, another very important test here this time for Germany, who sit in gold medal position after the first two rider rotations, but it is very tight at the top of this leaderboard. Marlon 192, 17-year-old Hanoverian riding pony gelding by Merlin, out of Selena by Navajo, owned by Anna Roaming. This is a first championship for Anna, but not for the pony. This will be his third. He did the 2023 and 2024 European Championships with Nell Roaming, winning in 2023 and finishing 12th in 2024. And that 2023 result was also a double gold, actually, one team gold as well that year. So this, a very, very competitive pony indeed, one of the most experienced in the field. Saw this partnership finish fourth in the Pony 2-Star Long and Stroan last October. Most recently, they ran in the Pony 2-Star Short in Stregom in June, but one of many, many competitors not to come forward for the final show jumping phase. A strange aberration and anomaly of that edition of Stregom in tough conditions. Much of the field withdrawing or not making it through that final horse inspection. Anna is 14 years old. We would be looking for a score of around 30 for this pair. That's generally where they sit. And we can see already just a little bit of head wobble there in that stretchy trot, but this is a consistent pony who knows his job. And Anna, a beautifully quiet rider. Lovely uphill canter on Marlin 192. Very balanced, which allows for Anna to really ask for the transition into those medium canter steps there. Good in that rein back there, straight, perhaps losing a touch of the rhythm, not totally diagonal pairs, but that's me being nitpicky and fussy. Still a very good rein back there from Anna van Helldorf and Marlin 192.
Pour l'équipe qui est en tête à l'heure actuelle, l'équipe
Nice
d'Allemagne,
finish there to
Anna
the
van
test for
Helldorf,
our
associée à Marlin
third round German rider Anna von Helldorf and Marlin
The third
192.
rider for the German team,
Scooting forward a little bit there
Helldorf,
after that final halt and salute.
192. Et voici les résultats pour le cavalier italien Giacomo Gardini, associé à Fernil Michael Mischev, avec une moyenne en E de 72,73, en C de 71,82 et en M de 71,59. Une moyenne finale de 72,05 et un score de 28 points, ce qui le place
So just awaiting those
deuxième.
scores for Anna von Helldorf. Very important scores to come for Team Germany, who were sitting in gold medal position after that second rider rotation. We've seen some competitive scores come through for Italy, thanks to Giacomo Gardini, our third sub-30 score of the competition, and Linda Dierich of Belgium, who put a 30 on the board. So those two teams were sitting neck and neck for silver medal position on a 65.9 after the first two rider rotations. Germany just ahead of them in gold medal position on a 65. So scores now in: Anna von Helldorf, Marlin 192,
With a score
From the judge at E, it's a
28.
65.45.
Remember that the lead
Judge at
so
C,
far is
68.64.
Greta Marie with
Judge
the
at M,
last
68.41 for a total
Gerard
percentage of
Lady Raider,
67.50. And that is a penalty score of 32.5. That puts them into 11th place individually. And we'll see what that means for the German team at the end of this rider rotation.
Greta Marie-Laure en tête avec Wrestling Gym et c'est 27.10 la cavalière belge Anna
We have
dans l'équipe belge.
3 more horses, ponies and riders to see from 3 more teams before our first judging break. And then we will be able to have a look at how that team leaderboard is playing out.
64 et en M de 68-41, une moyenne finale de 67-50.
Though I suspect we might be looking at
50, la 11e place,
Italy currently sitting in the gold medal position,
pour la 3e cavalière.
having snuck ahead of Belgium, who they were neck and neck with after the second rider rotation, and Germany, who was leading the way. But with 3 more teams to come, nothing is set in stone. But that is how it is looking at the moment. Great news for Team Italy there. So now we head to France and the host nation here for the Pony European Championships. They were also our team gold medalists last year and individual gold medalists last year, though Ella Rinaldi, who won that individual gold, is not competing this year. This is Noah Pell and Gin GT La Templerie. This is a 10-year-old part-bred Welsh pony by Bailey du Tager, out of Joy of La Font by Cullen Nathan, and by Aude Guerrière, Mehdi Dommatin, and Chloe Feline. Both pony and rider making their European Championships debut here this week. Both of them have done all of their FEI starts together, so not an inherited pony this. Began at Royal Jump last spring in France, doing the 1-star there. In October they were second in the Pony 2-star long in Fontainebleau, just north of Paris. And in April of this year we saw them in Germany at Radolfzell. Wow, what a trot. Some of these Welsh ponies really do just have a huge amount of thrust from behind. So Pony 2-star short at Radolfzell in April for 6th place. And that 6th place is their worst ever FEI finish, which is something I think we'd all love to be able to say about our competition records. So spanning the gamut from 2nd to 6th place, but never any lower. Generally speaking, low 30s scorers. We saw them do a 31.1 in Radolfzell in April, but a 28.1 in Fontainebleau in October, that occasion of finishing 2nd in that 2-star long. So they will be firmly hoping to break the 30 barrier today. Noah is 16 years old, so last year of eligibility for these pony classes, and some very, very nice work so far. Often see these slightly cobbier Welsh bloodlines really creating a very active hind end. Can just make for a super fun ride, actually, and a lot of impulsion to play with. So you see them come out of that stretching work there and into the canter. So now we would like to see them open up this canter to show a few medium strides, and Noah really going for it there over the centre line. Comes back to the track and makes a very clear transition back to the working canter. That was nicely done there for France's Noah Pell. So again, Noah just really able to play with GT La Templerie's adjustability through that canter work. So unfortunately not square in that halt before the rein back, which means that we see that little shuffle step before those rein back steps, just trying to get aligned. Really a necessity to start with that square halt to have an even pushing off point for a good rhythmic rein back. So just going to probably lose a couple of marks in that movement there. And now in this free walk, great stretch, but would love to see just a little bit more over track. And the stride length open up a little bit, and this can be where it can get a little bit challenging for these powerful Welsh bred ponies, because there is a huge amount of movement and a very rounded and elevated movement, but that can be sometimes just conformationally a little bit hard to translate into a big open overstep. Certainly this pony finding it easier when doing transitions within the canter, but as I say, a very good stretch there as they come up their final centre line. In what will be Noah Pell's first and final Pony European Championships dressage test. Really nice work and a very, very sweet pony there in Gingiti La Templari. So we will just stand by to get a look at the numbers being thrown their way.
Au troisième cavalier français. Dans quelques instants, eh bien, on aura les notes de notre cavalier français, troisième de l'équipe, et dans quelques instants, la troisième cavalière irlandaise va se présenter avant d'avoir eh bien, la troisième cavalière britannique également. Et on aura une petite pause après ces deux prochains cavaliers. Well, the end of the dressage test for the third French team rider, Noah Pell and Gingiti La Templari. And face against results of the judges' mark. Avec les résultats pour Noah Pell et Gingiti La Templari, avec une moyenne en E à 68-64, une moyenne lancée à 77-95 et une moyenne en M à 72-95.
So scores now in for Noah Pell and lots to celebrate there. We thought perhaps that rein back section might prove to be a little bit expensive, but it certainly has not dented their impact on the leaderboard here. Noah Pell, third round French rider, Gingiti La Templari, that charming Welsh bred pony. 68.64% from the judge at E, 77.95% from the judge at C. Huge discrepancy there. 72.95% from the judge at M, splitting the difference, makes for an average percentage of 73.18%. That is a penalty score of 26.8% and straight to the top of the leaderboard for Noah Pell and Gingiti La Templari. So, two more riders for us to see in this third rider rotation, and then we will take a closer look at that team leaderboard. For Ireland now, this is Anna Radford and SNR Double Dutch. It's a 15-year-old Irish sport horse registered mare by the stallion Louis Dam, that great stallion of eventing and jumping horses. Out of the mare Touch of Dutch by VDL Douglas, so you'd love to think that this one is going to be a pretty extraordinary jumper with the breeding like that. Owned by Maria Radford. This partnership was winners of the two-star short at Mill Street in May, the pony two-star short held there. Third at that same level at Ballindennis in April. We saw them here last year at the Pony European Championships at Le Mans. Finished 27th individually. They did have a 20 on cross-country on that occasion, but a year later, with a year more experience under their belts, they will be looking to tell a very different story this week. Hannah is 15 years old, and so coming to the end of her pony career. Smart halt there before the rein back, and you can see Anna Radford really taking her time. Let that halt sit. Losing maybe a little bit of the rhythm there without the diagonal pairs through that rein back. Up the final centre line now for our third round. Irish rider Anna Radford and SNR Double Dutch. This jumping bred mare by Louis Dam out of VDL Douglas mare.
Anna Radford riding SNR Double Dutch, finishing their dressage test. Launching their second European
Test
championship.
that will make a big impact on our team leaderboards at the moment as we look ahead to our fourth rider rotation. So at the moment, 3 riders on the board across the teams will mean no drop scores to keep in mind yet. And we just have one more rider, one more team to see before we come to the end of this third rider rotation and can have a closer look at the leaderboard as it stands as we head into our judging break. So for Great Britain, this is Sophia Paul riding a Man in the Mirror. This lovely coloured gelding is 11 years old and British bred by the stallion Persiflage. After the mare Indian Dream, owned by Hannah Cavan and the rider. We saw this pony originally piloted by Izzy Inslee over the 2022 season. Sophia and the pony made their FEI debut as a partnership in 2024. They came to the European Championships that summer in Vesterstede, finishing 27th individually. They did pick up a 20 on cross country, so another partnership just looking to rewrite that story this week. Sophia is 16, so in her last year of eligibility for the ponies. Most recently, we saw them finish 4th in the CCI 2-star long for ponies at Bicton in Devon in the southwest of England. Very, very terrain-heavy venue that builds big, beefy, traditional cross-country courses. So always a great indicator, an upper end of the level sort of challenge, if you like. Generally speaking, we see this partnership deliver scores in the mid to high 30s. I think Great Britain this week struggling a touch in the first phase. They were in 6th of 6 at the end of the day yesterday, but generally a very good jumping phases nation, so we'll hopefully be aiming to climb through the week there after a bit of a tricky start. Up into the canter work here for Great Britain, Sophia Paul and the charismatic coloured Man in the Mirror. Beautiful pony, this. Just slightly running through that transition there, which it can slightly tempt ponies and riders to do, especially ponies that are this fit, that transition through the trot to the other canter leg. Just seeing quite a few ponies falling a little bit onto the forehand and rushing just a touch before regaining the balance and the carriage in the canter work. So back up into trot and coming up the final centre line there for Great Britain's third line rider, Sophia Paul and Man in the Mirror. Very nearly a perfect halt there, just a little bit close behind. I'm just being nitpicky now because we're at a championship. Well done to Sophia and to Man in the Mirror. So we'll just wait for scores to come through for them, and then we will have a look at how that team leaderboard is looking after our third rider rotation. We will have one more rider rotation to come after the judging break. So commencing competition for the final time in this first phase of the eventing here at the Pony European Championships at 2:07 p.m. local time. So if you're following along from the UK or Ireland, that is 1:07 p.m. We will be back with our next rider in the ring, who will be one of our individual competitors for Spain, Iria Vasquez Lopez, riding Rosemount Shambo. So again, that's 2:07 local time, 1:07 British or Irish time. In the meantime, we will just stand by for a moment to wait for those final scores for Sophia Paul and Man in the Mirror. Leader in the clubhouse at the moment is France's Noah Pell and Jin GT Le Templary. They put a very, very good 26.8 on the leaderboard. We have just 4 sub-30 scores so far and 1 score sitting bang on 30. That one was Ventadierix and Vavit of Belgium. Anna de Smet and De Halger and Allegro, also of Belgium, yesterday put a 29.5 on the board. They're now 4th individually as it stands. Giacomo Gardini of Italy, Fernhill Milcham Mischief, a 28 for provisional 3rd right now. Greta Marie Lohr, individual competitor for Germany with Rathklein Dream, 27.1, delivered yesterday, still holds firm in individual silver medal position provisionally right now as we come to the last quarter of the first phase here, with Noah Pell leading. So scores in for Sophia Paul of Great Britain and Man in the Mirror. From the judge at E, that is a 62.05%. From the judge at C, a 63.86%. From the judge at M, 58.18%, making a total percentage of 61.36, or 38.6 penalties for 25th place individually. So let's take a look at what that means for our team leaderboard with 1 rider apiece left to go. France now holding gold medal position on a combined score of 94.1%. Their best score is a 26.8. Their worst at the moment is a 34.9, so they will be looking to get another rider in sub 34.9 to get that number even lower. Italy currently sitting silver medal position on a 95, thanks to that 28 delivered by Giacomo Gardini. Belgium sitting in bronze medal position on a 95.9, so we're seeing very, very tight margins at the top here. The best of their team so far, Anna de Smet and De Halger and Allegro, 29.5. Ireland sitting 4th on a 97, which is 1.1 penalties off of the podium. Their best is 31.1 by Anna Radford and SNR Double Dutch, who we saw just a moment ago. Germany, who were gold overnight are now in 5th place on a 97.5. Their best score so far, a 31.7 by Charlotte Isles and Nadeshi, and Great Britain remain in 6th place at the moment on 116.9%. 116.9 penalties. In fact, their best score so far, a 34.1 for Eva Bryant and Cool Naleen Rebel. So one more rotation of riders to go, and then there will be a drop score chosen for each team, and we will have our overnight leaders going into tomorrow's pivotal cross-country phase. So again, we will be back in just a few moments' time. 2:07 local time, 1:07 Irish and British time if you are following along from either of those countries. In the meantime, we will just be taking a short break here, so we'll return soon. Thank you very much.
No, that happens when you have that organic stuff coming in. This washes itself down 5 centimeters below the top surface. This is why
Eh bien, je vous propose de poursuivre avec la quatrième et dernière partie des reprises de dressage de ce championnat d'Europe FEI de concours complet poney avec eh bien 5 couples qui courent en individuel et puis les quatrièmes cavaliers des 6 nations engagées en équipe. La Belgique, l'Italie, l'Allemagne, la France, l'Irlande et la Grande-Bretagne. Pour le moment, après 3 cavaliers, eh bien c'est la France qui est en tête avec 94,10 points. L'Italie est deuxième avec 95 points. La Belgique troisième, 95,9. L'Irlande quatrième, 87 points. L'Allemagne cinquième avec 87,5 points. Et la Grande-Bretagne 116,90. À la 6e place et classement individuel, eh bien c'est le cavalier français de l'équipe de France, je nous rappelle, qui est en tête avec 26,80. Greta Marie-Laure est deuxième pour l'Allemagne avec 27,10 et la 3e place pour le cavalier italien Giacomo Gardini et c'est 28 points.
Well, have a quick look of the ranking so far for the teams. France in the lead with a score of 94.10. Italy second with a score of 95. Belgium third 28.
Eh bien, reprenons le cours de ces tests de dressage avec la dernière partie des cavaliers. On va reprendre avec les cavaliers qui sont à titre individuel dans ce championnat d'Europe FEI de concours complet poney. L'Espagne nous a rejoint, la deuxième cavalière espagnole du plateau, Iria Vasquez-Lopez, associée.
Well, welcome back to our final session of riders here in the first phase of the 2026 FEI Pony European Eventing Championships. We have our final and fourth rotation of team riders to come in this session, plus several more individual competitors before the culmination of the dressage and a look ahead to tomorrow's cross country. So, getting us back underway, individual competitor for Spain, Iria Vasquez-Lopez riding Rosemont Shambo. Rosemont Shambo is a 7-year-old, one of the youngest ponies in the field, Irish bred gelding by Banks Timber and out of the mare Shambo Kilo and Bluebell, owned by Patricia Lopez Pardo. This will be a first 2-star long for both pony and rider. Certainly not alone in having that be the case this week. They made their FEI debut just this year at Mata de Duque in Portugal early in the season. Finished 4th place in the 1-star there, finishing on the dressage score of 33.9, and then ran at the 1-star at Segovia later that month. We saw them step up to 2-star short and a normal 2-star short class rather than a pony specific one at Majadahonda in Spain in April, finishing 16th. 34.4 dressage on that occasion. Iria is just 14 years old, so in the middle of her pony career. And that's very young and inexperienced. 3 rotations, we have a changeover at the top of the leaderboard. After 2 rotations, it was Germany. Now it is France sitting in gold medal position on a score of 94.1. Italy sitting silver just behind them on a 95, and a squeak behind them, it's Belgium in bronze medal position on a 95.9. It remains very tight across the leaderboard. Ireland 4th at the moment on a 97. Germany 5th on 97.5. Great Britain just a little bit behind there, looking to start their climb up on a score of 116.9 in 6th place. Leading the way at the moment individually is France's Noah Pell, who we saw before this judging break just gone. put a 26.8 on the board with Gin GT La Templerie. Really lovely test from that partnership there, and that beautiful Welsh bred pony. German individual competitor Greta Marie Lohr sitting in second individually at the moment with a 27.1 on Rathline Dream. Italy's Giacomo Gardini third on a 28 with Farnhill Milcham Mischief. Anna de Smet for Belgium, fourth under Helga and Allegro with a 29.5, and again for Belgium, Vinter Dierix Vavit on a score of 30 at the moment. So we just catch up with Spain's individual competitor Iria Vasquez Lopez, making her way through this canter section of the test here. This will be a really valuable chance for both pony and rider to gain some experience. This a very young and inexperienced pony, but with an awful lot of very likeable attributes. Nice halt. We just see a little bit of that hesitation and anticipation in that front right foot, not quite wanting to immediately commit to the halt. But Iria taking her time there and making sure to complete that movement properly before moving into that rein back. So up the final centre line now for Spain's Iria Vasquez Lopez. Rosemount Chambeau, a smart 7-year-old gelding, really lovely halt there to finish off their test.
Pour l'Espagne,
In that test from this pair, who are here competing individually and gaining plenty of experience for the future as they do so.
Spain, Irina Velasquez Lopez and Rosemont Chambeau, owned by Patricia Lopez Pardo. This is a quite young pony, 7 years of age only. This is the youngest pony in this 2026 European Championship. There will be three 7-year-old pony in this 2026 Europeans.
So we just await that score for Iria Vasquez Lopez, and we do have those marks through. So from the judge at E, 65.91%, judge at C, 65%, judge at M, 64.09%, for a total percentage of 65 and a penalty score of 35 for Spanish individual competitor Iria Vasquez Lopez and the delightful 7-year-old Rosemount Chambeau, who may well be the youngest pony in this year's field. They move into 19th place at the moment. So our next competitors to come forward will be individuals for Germany, Franziska Nienhoff and Metallica SGN, of course. An individual for Germany already making great waves, sitting in second currently. That was Greta Marie Lohr, Rathklein Dream. They put a 27.1 on the board yesterday and retain a very competitive position at the moment. But now it is the turn of Franziska. Metallica SGN is a 9-year-old German riding pony mare by Mason, out of Blander by Brilliant, owned by Margaret Niehoff. They have been together throughout each of their respective FEI careers, and this is a first championships for both pony and rider. They made their debut at Strohen in the Pony 2-Star Long in October. Had an educational day out there, non-completion, but regrouped, learned a lot from it, came back for the Pony 2-star short at Radolfzell in Germany in April, and had a good run there, and in the 1-star at Marbach. We were another pair that we saw last month at Stregom in that Pony 2-star short in those tough conditions, but not coming forward to show jumping at the end, which was the case for most of the class. And we have seen them go sub 30 twice so far at 2-star, so this could be a mover and a shaker of a test indeed. Very smart workmanlike start so far. So a good decisive push through into those medium canter steps there on that 20 metre canter circle to the right. Judges wanting to see a really clear delineated transition between a working canter and those steps of medium. Staying lovely and uphill through those transitions there, that change of leg in the canter through the trot. So coming across that long diagonal in that free walk to see a moment of nearly thinking about breaking up into trot. Just a little bit of an aberration in the rhythm there. That is not a break, that is not a mistake, but not quite the evenness of stride that would really claw the marks for this movement. So final halt and salute there for German individual competitors Franziska Niehoff and Metallica SGN. She looks thrilled with that, and with good reason. A really nice effort from them. This pair who have twice previously gone sub 30 at 2-star, so we will await to see if they have managed it again today.
For the first time at the Europeans, Metallica SGN and Franziska Niehoff. With this great pony by Masson, owned by Margaret Niehoff, age of 9 for this Metallica SGN. Let's have a look to the scores for Franziska Niehoff.
So scores now in for Franziska Niehoff of Germany and Metallica SGN. At E, it's a 70.68. At C, 71.82. At M, 70% for a total percentage of 70.83 and a penalty score of 29.2, which puts them into 4th place individually. And a reminder that they are individual competitors for Germany, not using as part of the teams. That will not impact the team leaderboard, but it does mean that our top 5 features 2 German individual competitors.
Score avant le test de cross de 29.2, une 4e place, titre individuel pour la cavalière allemande. Poursuivons avec les
So
couleurs de la
3
Suisse.
more individual competitors to see before we get into our 4th rider rotation for the teams. First of those 3 will be Gaia Midori Nava of Switzerland,
14 ans.
riding Expats Fireworks. This is a 14-year-old French-bred gelding by Expats Show Off out of RHB Gemini by Witting Sensation, owned by Marika Nava. Gaia will be 14 in September, so midway through her pony career. This is a European Championships debut for both pony and rider. Formerly saw this pony in Ireland ridden by Taj O'Hare, who we will see later on today, and Jack O'Hare before that. This partnership 6th at Stregom, pony 2-star short last month, and won the pony 1-star short at Morgengo in March in their first FEI run together. Tend to be low 40s scorers. Saw them put a 43.2 on the board in that run at Stregom at 2-star. Just a little bit quick into that halt there before the rein back, which translates to a little bit of a loss of rhythm and some crookedness in the rein back itself. But now stepping out nicely to come across this long diagonal for the free walk. Just see a little bit of fizziness wanting to bubble over. Gaia doing a good job of just moderating that at the start of that long diagonal there, where Expats Fireworks slightly threatened to think about breaking into the trot. So as a result, maybe not as much stretch over the top line as we'd like to see, but all about the moderation of this energy for Switzerland's Gaia Midori Nava and Expats Fireworks as they come up the final centre line and prepare to close the book on their test here at the European Championships. Nice square halt there. They know that they won't be coming here to try to win this first phase. Previously low 40s scorers, if they can break that 30 barrier, or break the 40 barrier rather, and get into the 30s, they will be delighted with that.
And you just watch Gaia Midori Nava for Switzerland riding this Expat Fireworks, which is 14 years old gelding by Expat Showhoff, born at Maracas Navas.
Let me just await the scores for them.
Et voici les résultats de la carrière suisse Gaia Midori
So,
Nava.
scores now in for Gaia Midori Nava of Switzerland and Expats Fireworks. From the judge at E, that's 61.59%, from the judge at C, 61.36%, and from the judge at M, 61.82%, for a total percentage of 61.59%, or a penalty score of 38.4. So previously, low 40 scorers, they cracked the 40 barrier, high 30s. Fantastic, showing some great development there, and a great starting point for them. So 2 more individual competitors to go before we move into that fourth and final team rider rotation. For Sweden now, individual competitors Nomi Palm and Kilna Kappa Cracker. This is a 10-year-old Connemara gelding by the stallion Mystical Bobby Lane, out of Grenoble Blondie by Granahan Champ, owned by Jessica Palm. We saw this partnership here last year at the European Championships, finished 23rd individually on that occasion and posted a 33.6 in the first phase. They were part of the Swedish team that finished 8th then. Also saw them come forward at the North Holland Horse Trials this spring at Udskarpel in the Pony 2-star long there, where they finished 6th place and scored a 36.9 in the first phase on that occasion. So we wish the best of luck to 15-year-old Nomi Palm and Kilna Kappa Cracker as we see them embark on that first medium trot across the long diagonal. And these Connemara ponies from Ireland, so popular, enduringly popular eventing ponies, not always possessed of the most extravagant of movement, but tough, gritty, brave and game, incredible jumpers. So opening up the stride there, looking to deliver those medium canter strides to the judges in that working canter circle. Nomi Palm and Kilner Kappa Cracker, our Swedish individuals. Just slightly losing the canter there in that counter-canter loop, so we look for them to be on the left canter leg and to ride that loop that takes them to the centre line of the arena and then back out to the corner without changing legs or braking. We just saw them get a little bit discombobulated there and break into the trot. Nice square halt there. Just a touch of fidgeting in it, but Nomi holds the halt for a moment and lets that immobility settle in before embarking on that rein back. So across the arena there in the free walk, looking to really open up that stride, stretch over the top line and seek out the contact before gathering up the knitting in the corner, transitioning to medium walk for a few paces and then picking up trot for that final centre line. So a lot of transitions coming up very quickly there. Nice final halt and salute there for our individual partnership. Nomi Palm and Kilner Kappa Cracker of Sweden.
Nomi Palm pour ouvrir ses deuxièmes championnats d'Europe avec Kilner Kappa Cracker.
And this is our second European Championship this year. That was Nomi Palm for Sweden with the Kilner Kappa Crackers.
So scores now in for Nomi Palm and Kilner Kappa Cracker. From the judge at E, 62.5%. From the judge at C, 66.36%. From the judge at M, 62.5%. Total percentage of 63.79 and a penalty score of 36.2. That puts them into 23rd position.
Veste orange.
So just
Pays-Bas nous a rejoint Lieve van Oort,
one more individual competitor to go, and then we embark upon our final rider rotation in the teams. For the Netherlands, although that needs very little introduction, the Dutch always wearing their characteristic orange jackets. This is Lieve van Houten, and she rides Tullibard 6th Sense AC. This is a 14-year-old Irish sport horse, stud book registered gelding, though the breeding is unknown. Owned by Janine Stintjes. This is a hugely, hugely experienced pony. This will be his 27th FEI start. Previously saw him representing Ireland at the 2019 Pony European Championships with Brian Kuhnel, finishing 16th individually and part of the bronze medal winning Irish team there. In 2023 and 2025, Lieve rode him at the Europeans. Finished 4th place as a team both times and top 10 individually last year. They were 9th here, so lots of expectations on them. Unfortunately, no Dutch team coming forward this year, but they still get to be here as individuals, which is something. We would love to see the Dutch team back again next year. Lieve at 16 years old, so in her final year here at the Pony European Championships. She also show jumps to 115 in FEI international classes. In the lead up to this European Championships, we saw this partnership finish 8th at the Royal Jump Pony 2-Star Short in May in France in those tropical conditions. And they also ran the 1-Star at Marsbergen as a final prep, just dropping down a level to get some confidence and really consolidate. It's a very common tactic. See it used at the top levels a lot as well. They finished 17th on that occasion, obviously going there to prepare and not to try to win. Their dressage on that occasion was a 41.4, which is very uncharacteristic for them. At Royal Jump, we saw them get a 28.3 in that 2-star test, which was a very good test for them. Generally speaking, they are 30 scorers. And poor Lieve van Houten and Tillebard's Sixth Sense AEC just starting to really get up close and personal with the flock of pigeons that likes to descend upon the arena at about this time of day. We get the morning free of them, and then midway through our eventing yesterday and today, they have decided to come and drag the arena for us. So a little bit of an extra challenge, often flying right up in ponies' faces, and you can just see Tillebard's Sixth Sense AC, very fit pony, very, as I say, very experienced, but also very canny and smart. So going to be slightly reactive there if a bird flies up in his face, and you just saw him having a bit of a look at them as he did his canter work around them. It's hard for a rider as well if you're riding and you know that there's something that could do something quite startling, and then there could be a reaction, and you start riding all the coulds and the shoulds get sidelined a little bit. But Lieve's doing a lovely job of just maintaining that composure, ignoring those pigeons and just saying, no, you know what, we've got a circle to be on, so we're going to be on the circle. I'm going to put my leg on and we're going to do our best here. And there's no point panicking about pigeons until the pigeons truly force you to panic. It's a life motto for us all to live by, isn't it? We don't get to have a look at what the legs are doing in that rainback, which is a little bit too zoomed in, but the rainback certainly happened. And now we see Lieve van Houten and Tillebard's Sixth Sense AC stretching down and crossing the arena in this free walk and not even batting an eyelid on that loose rein. And the pigeons really decide to go for it there. So brave from both pony and rider there.
And the salute for Lieve van Houten.
Final Halton salute there for Lieve van Houten of the Netherlands. Our final individual competitors, Tillebard's Sixth Sense AC. We'll just wait to see their scores, and then we will head into the fourth and final rider rotation for our teams. That will be the deciding point of the provisional podium heading into tomorrow's cross-country competition.
Le troisième championnat d'Europe pour ce couple. Allez, on va retourner, eh bien, mesdames et messieurs, aux équipes, si vous le voulez bien, les quatrièmes cavaliers de chacune des nations engagées par équipe dans ce championnat d'Europe.
So scores now in for Dutch rider Lieve van Houten and Tillebard's Sixth Sense AC. From the judge at E, 62.73%. From the judge at C, 66.36%. From the judge at M, 61.36%. For a total percentage of 63.48 and a penalty score of 36.5. That puts them into 25th at the moment. as we get ready to welcome the first of our final rider rotation for the teams. This will be for Belgium, Lentel Louise Desmet riding Orchids Zilla. Orchid Zilla is a 12-year-old Dutch riding pony mare. Orchids Pamela by Milton. Orchids Zilla for her own part by the stallion Cansheba. Owned by BV Ridentity. 15-year-old rider. Not any relation to teammate Anna Desmet as far as I can tell. She did her first FEI event with this pony back in 2024 after inheriting the ride from Belgium's Fleur Sterks. She also does pony CSI show jumping classes. And we saw them do some of those at Haradapan in France in June. Their last event was also in France at Royal Jump Pony 2-Star Short in May. Finished 19th, but they did have a run out on cross country on that occasion, so we'll be using that as a bit of a sharpening up for this week's crucial competition. Sometimes the best thing that can happen is a little bit of a mistake before a really important event. On that occasion, we saw them get a 27.6 in the dressage, which is pretty consistent for them. They are very good on the flat, as you can tell here. This is a very leggy, elegant pony. And Lentel Louise, quite a meticulous rider. They were the winners of the Pony 2-Star Short at Montelibretti in Italy back in March. We saw Lentel last year here at the Pony European Championships with Picasso Drum van het Juxhoft. Juxshot, perhaps even. Apologies. They finished 13th individually on that occasion, and Belgium was 7th as a team. Belgium sitting in team bronze medal position after the first 3 rider rotations. Anna Desmet giving the best score of the bunch for Belgium so far, a 29.5 with De Halger and Allegro. We will be looking to go sub 30 again here, as it's a partnership that's very capable of it. In any case, if they can get a better score than 36.4, which is the lowest score on their roster at the moment, then that will certainly help to boost them up the order and keep them on the podium. So we see Louise Desmet and Orchid Zilla are last combination for the Belgian team, just coming across the diagonal in that free walk. One of the final movements in this test, watched on by that expansive Belgian support team. And what looks like a few Irish sneaking into the midst. Very smart final halt and salute there. This is a pair that can realistically be expected to put a sub-30 score on the board, so let's wait and see if that is what they've managed to do. If so, it will be very good news indeed for the Belgian team, who were sitting in bronze medal position after that third rider rotation. Everything very, very tight at the top there.
This pony is owned by the society.
94.1 after 3 riders for France in gold medal position, 95 after 3 riders for Italy in silver medal position, 95.9 after 3 riders for Belgium in bronze medal position. So extremely tight at the top and a lot of movement to be expected.
Et voici les notes. And here are the scores, sorry, 29.4, that's the dressage score. This is the 5th place in the leaderboard. Well done.
And that will do it for now. Belgium move into gold medal position. That is from the judge at E, a 67.73%, from the judge at C, a 74.32%. So we're seeing another big margin there again. Judge at M, 69.77%, for a total percentage of 70.61. That is a penalty score of 29.4. That will put them into 5th place individually. That for now puts Belgium right at the top of the leaderboard on an aggregate score of 88.9. France now down into silver on their 94.1, so widening that gap somewhat. And then Italy just behind them on a 95 in bronze medal position. So let's see what they can do next. It is our Italian next in the ring now, our final line Italian rider, the British-based Isabella Owers and Astronaut's Voyage. This is a 13-year-old Irish-bred gelding by Cashel Bay Prince, out of Lady Teelet by Celtic Bobby Sparrow, owned by Project Pony, that great British-based foundation designed to give young riders access to ponies that will allow them to pursue a career competing in these pony trials and making it to their first championships. Ponies match made and provided and then owned by this company, started by Ian Barrett, whose daughter Elizabeth Barrett is one of Great Britain's most exciting young riders. So it will be a championship debut for this Project Pony owned Irish bred, but Isabella O, as we saw here last year, riding Gimmick de Blonde, finished 31st individually and part of the 5th placed Italian team. She's 16, so this will be her last year in these pony trials. She and Astronaut's Voyage were winners in the Pony 2-Star Short at Radolfzell in Germany in April. They also finished 6th at Royal Jump at the same level in May and 3rd at Stregom last month in Poland. So well travelled this season and with great reward. At Stregom, which was their last FEI run, they did score a 34.3, but actually, generally speaking, we tend to see them between 31 and 33, so much lower 30s. This was her direct reserve pony for last year's European Championships. So now he steps up into the big leagues. So Italy's best score at the moment, that 28 put on the board earlier today by Giacomo Gardini. Final Much Mischief scores running the gamut with the lowest at the moment at 35.7. So if we can see Isabella Owers get better than that 35.7, they can regain some ground on this leaderboard. They're sitting in bronze medal position at the moment. Belgium, with their last rider, just moving up into gold medal position. They're on an 88.9%. They can't go any lower. But France in silver and Italy in bronze position at the moment. The world is their oyster. I'm getting some nice deep stretch there in that free walk for Italy's Isabella Owers and Astronaut's Voyage as they come to the latter stages of their test. A very good square halt and salute. Perhaps a touch close behind if we're being picky, but lots to celebrate there. Very smart test for Isabella Owers and this Irish-bred Astronaut's Voyage. So they'll be hoping for a score lower than a 35.7 in order to gain a little bit of headway up this leaderboard. They are currently sitting bronze, Team Italy. Can they hold on to their podium place? Can they gain another step up that podium? We will await these scores and find out. So, scores now in. 68.18% from the judge at E, 67.73% from the judge at C, 66.14% from the judge at N. That is a total percentage score of 67.35%, and that means for Isabella Owers and Astronaut's Voyage, our anchor riders for Team Italy, it is a penalty score of 32.7. That will put them into 16th place individually, and that also means that Italy now steps up into silver medal position on a first phase score of 92. So that puts them ahead of France, who now move down into bronze medal position on their score of 94.1. They still have a rider left to come, so they can bring that score a little bit lower. Their lowest score at the moment on their roster is a 34.9. So if they can get a better score than that with their final rider in the ring, we will potentially see some movement for France, but not just yet. For now, we turn our attention to Germany. Germany currently sitting 5th on a 97.5, so again, still reasonably tight at the top. There is still movement that can happen here. All is not lost for our friends from Germany. Their last rider will be Leah Brugger, riding Golden Girls Nelly This is an 11-year-old Westphalian mare. The stallion Golden West, who's been quite a popular stallion in this Pony Europeans this year. Out of the men, Next Generation by Nabucco are owned by Cornelia Brugger. This is another very, very experienced pony. This is going to be his 19th FEI start. Was previously ridden by Leah's older sister, Sina. Leah made her FEI debut with the pony in 2025 at Rodopsal. Pony 2-star short in Germany, finishing 12th there. She also rides the very good pony Next Generation in FEI classes. And that was the pony that she rode here last year in the European Championships. Unfortunately, they did not complete. She had a full-on cross-country, but she, a rider who will come here older and wiser, knowing what went wrong and how to improve upon it. And she has ridden into this arena like someone who means business, with that characteristic German precision on what is a very, very smart pony, this Westphalian mare. So 15-year-old Leah won 2 FEI classes with this pony in the 2025 season. They took the 1-star at Mechtersin and the pony 2-star long at Stroen. And as you may have guessed from watching the start of this very smart test, they do tend to be very competitive in this first phase. Their last FEI outing was at Stregom in the Pony 2-star short last month, and they scored a 25.6 on that occasion, which, if they can do it today, would put them straight to the top of the leaderboard individually. They also put a 24.3 on the board when winning that Pony 2-star long at Stroen. So, nails being bitten on the sidelines for Germany, currently sitting 5th place in the team standings. But they will be achingly aware that if Leah works her usual magic and throws down a score in the mid-20s, things could look very different in a few minutes' time for Germany. And you see her really going for it there with that medium canter. Just judges looking to see a distinct difference between the working and medium canter. It would be tempting when the pressure is on to ride conservatively to avoid a mistake, but Leah trusts in her system, trusts in her training, and trusts in her pony there. Rides a big, bold transition and will likely be rewarded handsomely for doing so. One of the most distinctive and demarcated transitions we have seen between the working and medium canter yet, so well done to them there. And a nice step up back into the canter through that change of leg through the trot. One of the great things about riding at any level is that you can learn nearly as much from watching other people as you can from doing it yourself, and it doesn't matter what level you're watching at, whether you're watching your peers, whether you're watching people at a level below you or above you. And this is certainly one of those tests that I think there's a lot of education to be gained from for people watching. She is being precise in her geometry. She is not going to leave marks on the table through sloppiness, certainly, and just doing a really lovely job here of setting up each movement, ensuring that she's always bringing the energy back onto the hind end as much as she can for Golden Girls and Ellie. And that is why we see these transitions just looking like they go up a hill. So let's see how they get on in this difficult rein back here. So square halt to start, we just get a little glimpse of that as the camera shifts. Not, unfortunately, the best rein back we've seen. It was reasonably straight, perhaps a little deviation to the right in the last step there, but what we would really love to see to get the most marks out is diagonal pairs of legs moving backwards in a rhythm. So that was a little bit more of a 4-beat rein back, as so many of them are, and without a distinct rhythm in it. But now we see them cross that long diagonal in the free walk, encouraging the opening of stride and the stretching over the back and over the top line down to seek the contact. Making sure not to gather up the reins too early. We don't get to see too much of this transition up to medium walk as it goes away from us. But medium walk for a few steps there before picking that trot back up. Heading down the centre line there. And just a little step to square up that halt. And she's thrilled with that. Leah Brugger, Golden Girls and Ellie are anchor riders for the German team, currently sitting 5th in the team rankings after the first 3 riders, but Leah, all the pressure on her shoulders there. She could really change the fates and fortunes of the German team. I think she's feeling pretty confident in her performance there and what that may have done for her. Lots and lots of hugs for the beautiful Golden Girls Nelly, and you just see Jan Frohner, German team photographer there, making sure to get all of those candid shots of a delighted Leah Brugger leaving the arena. It's always nice to have the beautiful action shots and the trot extensions and the half passes, but at the end of the day, the shots we all really love to see are of these riders just loving their ponies, because that is what this sport comes down to. So we will look forward to seeing those photos make their way onto social media later, no doubt. So scores now in for Leah Brugger and Golden Girls Nelly. We said she had been a mid-table 20 scorer before, and we'd be aiming for that again. How silly we were. She is a German event rider and the German anchor, so of course she's aiming for better than mid-20s, which is what she's previously scored. Of course it's aiming for a personal best at a European Championship. So, unanimous decision here from our three judges. At E, it is a 74.32%. At C, it is an enormous 80.91%. At M, it is 77.73%. A total percentage of 77.65% for a penalty score of 22.4. That puts her into the individual lead by over 4 penalties. I told you it was a test to watch and learn from, and it most certainly was. Now let's see what that means for our team from Germany. 5th place after the first 3 rider rotations. They'd held the lead after the first 2. After the 3rd, they dropped down to 5th, and now they catapult straight back to the top of the podium. They are sitting first on a score of 86.6%. Belgium now into silver medal position on an 88.9. Italy slips down to bronze on a 92. There are still moves that can be made. We have more teams left to see. And for now, it is the host nation, France, sitting in 4th place after the first 3 riders on a score of 94.1, so a whisper behind Italy in bronze. They can shave a couple more penalties off that. Their lowest score in their clubhouse at the moment is a 34.9. If they can take 2.1 penalties off that, they will be even with Italy. So if they can just play it very safe and make that 2.2, they will take over bronze medal position. So anyone up for doing some quick maths, that makes 32.7 that they are aiming for. 32.7 or better for our anchor for France. This is Luc Revedi riding Celeste Dumontier. Celeste Dumontier is a 14-year-old Celle Francais by the stallion Tricky Choice Dupina, out of the mare Epine 2 by Alhanak, owned by Leah Labihi. Lou is 15 years old. This is her first FEI pony. This pony has had 3 prior French riders, and this is going to be his 2nd European Championships. This first was last year, also with Lou in the irons. They finished 12th individually. In fact, this is his 3rd, not his 2nd Europeans. My apologies. In 2024, he came here with Rosalie Winterholler. As an individual, finished 14th, so very competitive pony indeed. This partnership was 2nd in their only FEI run of this season so far, which was the 2-star short for ponies at Morgengo in March, but a 33.1 in on the flat there. Usually low to mid-30 scorers. They did have a 44 at Fontainebleau at the end of last season, but that was a real outlier score. They want to be getting a 32.7 or better to move onto the podium. Sorry, I had to really think about the numbers there. I started buffering. It wasn't your audio feed, it was your commentator. So again, another rider that we see being really bold and going for it in that transition into the medium trot. At the moment, France aren't on the podium. They have the chance of being on the podium. You might as well give it all you've got. Take those risks. Calculated risks are the name of the game. Better to have given it all you've got and not quite pulled it off than to be too conservative and lose out on success because you weren't brave enough to try. So Certainly nobody can fault Lucravidi for her bravery there. You just see what an enormous step this pony has. This looks to be quite a petite pony, but just a huge amount of step there, which will make it a very, very, very interesting character to watch in the jumping phases, because French riders tending to favour open strides, bit of allez-allez, and you can just see how extraordinarily adjustable this pony will be, and how much distance and ground he will eat up between the fences. That is tomorrow's job, of course. Today is about dressage, but unfortunately we see Celeste de Montier perhaps thinking a little bit too much about tomorrow's job. Some disagreements there in the canter, both with a little bit of a different idea of what leg they would like to be on there, but Lou getting it back together, making that transition down here. Now it is time for the halt and the rein back. Pony perhaps feeling a little bit ruffled, but actually does a very respectable rein back there. Sometimes that can be the tipping point. So coming up that final centre line now for France is Luc Cravedi, Celeste de Montier. It was a 32.7 or better that we wanted to see them get to take a place back on that podium that they are so achingly close to in fourth place. There's some lovely work in there, but also some rather overexcitable work. So let's wait and see what that means for Luc Cravedi, what that means for France. France, of course, the reigning team champions here. They won 1 year ago at the FEI Pony European Championships, also held at Le Mans on that occasion. They will be prepared to climb if they must, but they would love to go into cross-country already with a foot on the podium. It won't be, though. Climbing will be the job at hand. From the judge at E for Luc Cravedi, 62.05%. From the judge at C, 66.82%. From the judge at M, 62.05%, for a total percentage of 63.64. That is a penalty score of 36.4. That will put Luc Cravedi and Celeste de Montier into 27th place individually. And for France, that confirms for now fourth place. They can't get better than fourth. The podium is confirmed. Germany, Belgium, Italy. Well, I say the podium's confirmed. Those countries cannot change their score, but Ireland, currently sitting in fifth place, could be about to have an absolutely incredible dressage test, which could move them up the rankings and ahead of some of their competitors. So we shan't write a story that isn't finished yet, but France, for now, will remain at least behind Germany, Belgium and Italy, and that does mean that France will absolutely not be on the podium going into cross-country, but two very exciting phases left to come and lots of climbing to be done. So for Ireland now, anchor rider Tadhg O'Hare riding Billinagore Hero. It's a 12-year-old gelding of unknown breeding owned by Ciara O'Hare. Keen-eyed eventing fans among you may recognise that surname as being that of the five-star eventer James O'Hare. Perhaps one of the nicest men in the sport. That is Tadhg's father, of course. This partnership we saw here at the Pony European Championships last year, unfortunately, had a bit of an educational day in the office on cross-country and were eliminated for accumulated refusals, but they have been putting in the work behind the scenes, ready to come back bigger, better, stronger, faster. It's nearly a Daft Punk song, not quite. This is Tadhg's last year in the Ponies, 16 now, so moving into the junior rankings after this year's competition. saw them win the Pony 2-star short in Ballindennisq in September after that tricky appearance here last year. They were 8th at Mill Street in the Pony 2-star short this May. Generally speaking, scoring between 30 to 34, so low to mid-30s. But they did go sub-30 when winning Ballindennisq in September. And their personal best in this phase is a 28.3. They put that on the board in the Pony 2-star long at Mill Street in County Cork in 2024. You're seeing some very smart work indeed so far. Some really nice stretching in the trot work there. Again, Tig knows that he's not on a huge moving pony, but he's also very aware that you can do a transition on any pony that you've trained well, and you can do a damned good one at that. So, nice, balanced transition between working and medium canter for Tig O'Hare. We see him just retaining that balance while doing this counter-canter loop. Just see the Irish pony team supporters in the background there, and the very tall figure of Tig's father James as well, watching on as his son produces what has been a very, very nice test so far with this smart coloured pony. And the shout out as well must go to the support team. Whoever has turned out Ballinagore Hero for Tig O'Hare has done a lovely job. An awful lot of white bits to keep clean on this pony, but absolutely scrupulously done. Some nice stretch down the neck there in that free walk. Would love to just see a touch more over track from the hind legs there, but a nice job. And comes to his final halt and salute. Just one little fidgety step with that left four there, but a very nice, smart finish to what has been a very smart test. And you see James going in for the hug there. The Irish support crew are thrilled. James is keeping his cards close to his chest emotionally. We will see what those numbers on the board look like, but from where we stand, that looked like a very smart test indeed, and one that will be likely to be a very important one for the Irish team.
On va bientôt terminer cette première partie, première des 3 parties de ce championnat d'Europe de concours complet poney, les tests de dressage, bientôt le dernier couple avec la dernière nation représentée, la Grande-Bretagne. Question pour moi de vous rappeler que ce soir il y a la soirée des nations devant le bar de la brasserie rouge. Chacune des nations présentera ses meilleures spécialités, en l'occasion pour toutes et tous de profiter d'une très bonne soirée tous ensemble. Voici les résultats pour le cavalier irlandais Tig O'Hare et Ballinagore Hero avec une moyenne en E de 65-45.
Still just awaiting those final scores for Tig O'Hare of Ireland and Ballinagore Hero. And here they come. Okay, from the judge at E, 65.45%, from the judge at C, 71.14%, from the judge at M, 65%. That is a 67.2% in total for a penalty score of 32.8, which is individually 18th, and it's Ireland on a first phase score of 95.9, which at the moment will see them 5th place. We welcome our final pony and rider combination of this first phase of the 2026 FEI Pony European Eventing Championships. For Team Great Britain, this is Daisy Fulton riding Max Boy. Max Boy is a 13-year-old Connemara gelding by Doonhill Billy out of Kaylin Shana, owned by the rider. Daisy, 16 years old, in her final year of eligibility for the ponies. This is her first FEI pony and her championship debut. So she does it in the highly pressurised position of being the team anchor for Great Britain. The last run was at Castle Hill in April. They were 5th in the Pony 2-star long at Osberton in October. Last couple of dressage scores, we saw them in the 32 range. Great Britain very much in the position at the moment of having to think about climbing through the next 2 phases, which luckily something that the Brits are good at doing, because they do tend to be very consistent in those jumping phases. Generally speaking, like to start themselves these days from a position of not having to climb, but they're capable of doing it when push comes to shove. And after a couple of tricky moments in the office, that is the position that they find themselves in. So they will be hoping for a smart and workmanlike test here from Daisy Fulton and Max Boy, just to put them in slightly closer contention. The team leaderboard, by and large, pretty tightly packed. We will have Germany in gold medal position going into cross country on that 86.6, and then in 5th out of 6 is Ireland on a 95.9, so less than 10 penalties between 1st and 5th. Great Britain at the moment, before we get Daisy Fulton's score and factor that in, just lagging a little bit behind there on that 116.9. But if Daisy Fulton can deliver her usual low 30s score, then that will see that number change significantly, because they will be able to drop the 44.2 that Pathfinder Izzy Morton and Kuvaressa de Roue posted yesterday, after Izzy just had to coax the inexperienced pony through some tricky moments in the ring. So some nice workmanlike counterwork here for Max Boy and Daisy Fulton. Just losing a touch of the straightness there. In that down transition to trot across the diagonal. Pretty difficult to get that right. Nice square halt there before the rein back. And another just to slightly lose those diagonal pairs of legs. But good and straight in that rein back. round to the short side now, where they will pick the trot back up to come down the centre line and complete their test. The last of the British team, the last indeed of all our riders here in the first phase of this 2026 FEI Pony European Eventing Championships. Beautiful square halt finish there. Very well done to Daisy Fulton and Max Boy, the anchor of our British team, the anchor of our competition in its entirety, or at least the very first phase of it. So just await their scores there, and then we can have a little run through of the lay of the land going into tomorrow's cross country. Unfortunately, tomorrow's cross country not to be broadcast. We will return on Sunday for the show jumping finale of this eventing competition. But all results can be followed on worldsporttiming.com. That is where you will find the start list, the running orders, the results for both teams and individuals. So if you are not able to be on site at the Pony European Championships to watch that cross country, you can at least follow along with the scores there tomorrow. So final score in now for Daisy Fulton and Max Boy, our anchor rider for the Great British team. From the judge at E, it is a 60.91%. From the judge at C, 64.55%. Judge at M, 62.50%. Giving a total percentage of 62.65%. And a penalty score of 37.4. That will put them in 32nd individually. And Great Britain confirmed in 6th place going into tomorrow's cross country on a score of 110.1. So our team order confirmed at the close of dressage. Gold medal position for Germany on an 86.6, silver medal position for Belgium on an 88.9, Italy in bronze currently on a score of 92, France just behind them on a 94.1 in 4th place, Ireland making up ground 95.9 in 5th place, and then Great Britain in 110.1 in 6th place. So lots to do tomorrow on that cross-country course. Again, unfortunately we will not be live streaming that, but we will return on Sunday with the show jumping finale. And if you are not ponied out today, stay in your seat, because we will be back with the final stages of day 1 of the individual competition in the FEI Pony European Dressage Championship. Before too long, we will be back at 4 p.m. local time, which is 3 p.m. if you're watching along from the UK or from Ireland. Back in this arena on this feed with plenty more dressage action. I have been Tilly Barrett. This has been the Pony European Eventing Championships at Le Mans. We will see you very soon. Thank you.
The German is in the lead with a score of 86.6, Belgium second with 88.9, Italy third with a score of 92. The France is fourth with a score of 94.1. Ireland fifth with a score of 95.9, and sixth is the Team Great Britain with a score of 110.1. Et à titre individuel, eh bien, mesdames et messieurs, c'est l'Allemagne et Léa Brugger qui est en tête, qui a proposé la meilleure reprise de dressage avec un score de 22.40 devant le cavalier français No Appel et Gingetté La Tempéry, 26.80. Greta Marie-Laure, qui fait partie de l'équipe d'Allemagne, complète le podium provisoire avec 27.10. Je vous rappelle que l'ensemble des résultats est à consulter sur le site World Sport Timing, chronométreur et gestionnaire officiel de ces résultats ici au championnat d'Europe de concours complet poney, et sur l'ensemble des autres championnats d'Europe excepté la voltige. Et bien, mesdames et messieurs, reste plus qu'à vous souhaiter un excellent après-midi. Je vais une nouvelle fois remercier toutes les personnes qui ont travaillé sur le test de dressage. Merci beaucoup. Je vous souhaite un excellent après-midi. Je vous souhaite de profiter également des différentes boutiques du pôle européen du cheval pour aller faire quelques emplettes. N'hésitez pas également à aller vous restaurer au niveau des différents bars du pôle européen du cheval. Passez peut-être également chez notre photographe officiel, les Garennes photographes, qui mentalisent toutes vos reprises de dressage et vos parcours sur ce championnat d'Europe. Well, good afternoon everyone. You can enjoy this afternoon by
going on the different shops here in the Pôle Européen du Cheval to make some shopping, or going to our official photograph of this 2026 European Championships, les Guérin photographes, to see and buy all your photos. Profitez bien, mesdames et messieurs, bon après-midi à toutes et à tous, et on se retrouve demain avec beaucoup d'envie pour le test de cross, évidemment, le cross qui sera demain matin. Un cross dessiné par Didier Desnard, assisté d'Alain Ponceau, qui promet un très très beau spectacle, mesdames et messieurs. Alors, bon après-midi, bonne reconnaissance si vous allez faire vos reconnaissances de cross. Et on se retrouve donc pour la suite de ce championnat d'Europe FEI de concours complet poney demain matin. Bon après-midi à tous et à tous.
And good afternoon and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Very pleased to welcome you on this blue arena for the second part of the day, second part also for this individual European Championships for Dressage Ponies. Very pleased to welcome you all. We are going to spend almost 2 hours together with two parts this afternoon. We start in a couple of minutes with Germany, with the brand new team gold medalist 2026. They won the gold medal on yesterday. Lady Sophie Gossman is about to open this afternoon of dressage, followed by Alfonso Roig Bonilla for Spain. The Russian athletes Angelina Stepanova will be part of the casting this afternoon. Then Laurette Volapé-Lardif, the first French contender in this individual competition. Esmaïl Nissen will be there also around 4:32 for the Netherlands. And the first part will end with Onia Maldonado Bayarda for Spain. 15 minutes break, and we'll be back after at 5 o'clock till 6 this evening. Well, we wish you a very pleasant afternoon here in the European Equestrian Pole of Le Mans. Welcome back to our judges. Let me introduce you, if you weren't with us this morning. The president of this individual competition test for ponies is Janine Van Tuyst, representing the Netherlands at the letter C. At the letter E, representing France, the president of the grand jury of this Europeans 2026, Sandrine Traborn. Judge H, Mats Eriksson, representing Sweden. Judge M, waving the Danish flag in this competition, Christian Sugard, and representing Germany at the letter B, Thomas Kessler. Welcome back to all 5 of you and to your scribes also for the second part of the day. Bienvenue mesdames et messieurs, si vous venez de nous rejoindre autour de cette piste bleue. On va donc débuter la deuxième partie de cette compétition individuelle. Hier, on a eu l'épreuve par équipe en dressage où l'Allemagne s'est illustrée en tête, s'est offert un titre pour la 7e année consécutive, leur 24e médaille d'or en 26 ans de championnat d'Europe poney. Et c'est justement une championne d'Europe poney qui va ouvrir le bal dans quelques secondes. On va avoir deux parties cet après-midi. Nous sommes ensemble jusqu'à 18h pour compléter un petit peu ce classement qui se peaufine, passage après passage, avec les médailles individuelles qui seront décernées après la journée de demain, puisque demain, l'autre moitié concourra pour tenter de séduire nos juges et de gravir les plus hautes marches de ce podium des championnats d'Europe 2026. Justement, je vous parlais de ces médailles d'or, eh bien, elle en a déjà quelques-unes autour du cou, Lady Sophie Gossman, dont celle d'hier par équipe avec cette Diamantini qui n'a que 10 ans, cette ponette-là. Elle est aussi championne d'Europe l'année dernière, elle était vice-championne en individuel. Bienvenue Lady Sophie Gossman pour l'Allemagne avec Diamantini EA. Welcome back and welcome to Germany, the 2026 team gold medalist, the 2025 team gold medalist, the silver individual medalist 2025 with the same pony Diamantini, Lady Sophie Gossman for Germany.
Well, a very warm welcome back to this individual competition here in the 2026 FEI Pony European Dressage Championships. We saw the first quarter of our field come forward in this individual competition this morning, and now we get into the second quarter, bringing ourselves towards the halfway point throughout this afternoon. So our first pony and rider that we are going to be seeing in the ring today in this individual test is a very, very important partnership indeed for Germany. Lady